It's been nearly a year since we last met. Where does the time go? Figured I couldn't resist, Since it's been, I think 9 months since the last Let's Play. So since the last time you heard my pre-recorded voice. At least if you watched the other Let's Plays. Which, you might not have done. You might have watched bits of it. You might also not have any knowledge about me or what you're watching at all. But what we're watching, and or playing, depending on who we are, is Devil May Cry 4, the Special Edition. And what we're watching right now is the Special Edition's crazy opening cinematic, which lasts for a solid few minutes, because, the Special Edition brought new features such as Playable Virgil, and also Playable Trish and Lady, which sadly weren't made a thing in 5 as well, and that the Special Edition only brought the standard Virgil mode. And, what more can I say here during this prelude bit? You might also notice that the guy with the glowing arm there, who is not Dante. He's a completely different character. Because in this game, you play as both that guy and Dante. As my cursor appeared for a quick second, spooked me. You would play as both Dante and the new guy, who's a 16 or so year old kid in this game named Nero. He has a mysterious demon arm. We'll learn more about that as the game progresses. And this is also the first Devil May Cry game that was not a PlayStation exclusive. The original came out at the same time on both the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. Unlike, say, 3, which did get a port to PC, it was very, very bad. And then, of course, the HD collection later came and brought us 1, 2, and 3, all in one neat little package for all consoles and, the PC. And as I hinted at, many months ago, this game's development was also kind of troubled, forcing them to scrap it all halfway through development to remake it, which of course meant they didn't have as much time as they wanted, because the PS3 was hell to work with and they couldn't just... Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, press any button. They couldn't just port the stuff they'd already done for the game to the Xbox 360, so they had to redo it, all of it. So we will start and we will load game. We cannot start a new game. You might have noticed the store button. That is why, because for the Special Edition of 4, they made it so that the game no longer has the option to start a new game. There's only you only have one save file. It carries over to 5 as well. Because, you can buy for real money blue orbs and red orbs. There's no reason to do it because they even boosted the rate at which you acquire red orbs in the Special Edition. And here we are at the mission menu where we can choose whether we want to play with Nero and Dante, Virgil, or Lady and Trish. We'll of course be going for Nero and Dante, and as you can see, we'll be playing on the hard mode. We could also play Dante Must Die, but I figure Son of Sparta or the hard mode, because I figure normal mode's going to be a bit too easy maybe, since we have a full kit from the beginning, since we're loading a several times cleared save file. But also want to have a relatively relaxed experience, so we'll be going for Son of Sparta. You might have noticed that it's starting at 2. That's because I did try to record this before, but it did not pick up my microphone. And I'll actually just check that real quick by tapping to OBS, and hopefully it will not break everything. Okay, it is recording my microphone, and hopefully everything works out this time, and hopefully it's not just recording a black screen now, because of the tapping. Hopefully this is the case. But let's get started, regardless, with DMC4 Special Edition on the hard mode difficulty. We can also choose Nero's costume, either his standard or his prototype look that they allowed him to use now in the special edition. We'll be going with the default look because that's how I like him looking, and I have no other argument than that. You don't need another argument than that, but Capcom presents! And of course, as per usual, I will be relatively quiet during cutscenes, especially the ones that feature dialogue. Otherwise, I might talk over it a bit, like with the opening cinematic. Silhouette there. A bit like the logo, but of course also a bit like Dante with the Spada. Very neat little visual reference for those who are in the know, which we of course are. Director Hideaki Itsuno, or Itsuno, I don't know. And a guy with a sword and a red coat. Wonder who that might be. I mean, it's Dante, of course, in case you're...
Years ago,
In case you're daft.
the Dark Knight, Sparda, turned against his demon brethren and took up his sword for the sake of mankind. Though, despite his brave efforts in our names, I fear some have forgotten the truth of that great sacrifice. If the events of that terrible time were to reoccur, the fusing of both the demonic and human realms, we, weak humans, would have no means by which to oppose our submission. And so I ask you to unite and pray that even if such a dark time of chaos were to revisit us, our gracious Savior would shelter us from the storm. Let us pray.
Nero, what's wrong?
I'm out of here.
But it's not over yet.
All this preaching's putting me to sleep. Huh?
Kyrie! Go with your brother and get out of here!
I will return with help. You stall him until then.
I won't hold my breath. You got a jacked up notion of fair play, pal. And it's beginning to piss me off.
Let's rock. Mission 1. Birds of a Feather. Face off against the mysterious assassin. Of course, we know that it's Dante. And it's also very interesting, right, to see Dante from an outside point of view. Like every other game, we've seen him from his perspective. So here he just shows up, kills the Pope of Spartianity or Spartaianity or Sparta Slam, I don't fucking know what you want to call it. The religion of Sparta. It's also very interesting because, well, Sparta is Dante's father. And it makes sense that someone who 2 millennia ago saved the world from demons would be worshipped somewhere. We also know of Nero, Kyrie, and Credo. Credo and Kyrie being siblings, seemingly. And of course Nero not being all that interested in religion, even though his probably girlfriend, Kyrie, is a religious singer and somehow involved with this order that also seems to have a military arm, or at least armed guards with swords. The Credo, Kyrie's brother, is a part of. But without further ado then, let's rock. And we get a little tutorial here of how we can move and how we can do gun. I would rate it, but I did that in the now gone and forgotten recording that didn't pick up my own audio. So yeah, you can jump with the jump button, which also lets us evade enemy attacks, which is very helpful to know, considering, you know, if you're new to the game, which you might be if you're playing it on Xbox or the computer and have never played a Devil May Cry game before because you did not own a PlayStation. Because after all, as we know, the jump is the most efficient way of evading attacks in Devil May Cry. There's a side roll. You can roll on the ground to avoid attacks as well. Whoop. Which is also very neat. And something's with my throat, like making me cough. I do not know what it is. And it was also a bit of an issue in the, especially bootleg recording. Oop. He is comes walking out from there.
Guess this doesn't quite cut it.
What's the point of packing a sword like that if you aren't even gonna use it?
Smug motherfucker. That's why we love him. You can press the melee button to do melee attacks. If we time it differently, we can do different kinds of attacks. Though for the tutorial, we can only do this. But we've also got the High Roller, which I can't remember the name of Dante's version. You just blast an enemy upwards. Do that on Dante a couple of times. Come on. And Nero, unlike Dante, also has the ability to do aerial combos without needing the Swordmaster style. Which again, to slightly streamline the experience and also make the move lists stink, I suppose. Oh shit. To see the stinger move be used and in a cutscene.
You got a trick up your sleeve. I thought the cat had your tongue. It's a trick you're looking for. Looks like you two are.
There's something up with the audio mixing. Just the dialogue, it can be quite hard to hear sometimes, but luckily there are subtitles, so now we have access to the Buster, where if we press the B or the style button, you're an enemy, we can see little video shows, we can grab them. We can also do it in the A, and it will the effect will depend. And let's just get some red orbs. It's interesting to note, right, that once Dante saw Nero had a magical arm, he chose to speak. He didn't do that beforehand. That's very interesting to note, right? Considering it's the Devil Bringer. The arm.
So, you're looking to play, huh? Alright, I guess I got some time to kill. Tough guy, huh? Well... yeah. I think I'll have to take you down a couple notches. Whatever you say, kid.
And now Dante has a health bar, and we too have one. Whoop. And interesting to note about Dante here is that he input reads. So if we try to sting it, he will parry it and do some shit as well. Sometimes might just roll to the side and fold up with a stinger of his own. Oh shit. We'll try not to use the Devil Trigger until we actually get it. Spoiler alert, as we also saw in the opening cutscene. The cinematic. So there he tried to do it. But can you... The only way to unstagger ourselves is to DT. Of course, we also have the motorcycle gauge. Can use to superpower our moves. We'll supercharge the gun by using Nero's hand. Into a hill-breaking competition with Dante if we should serve the sun. Damn it. Ooh. Couldn't see him. Damn it. Just trying to remember how to play Nero in full. So there we have it. Counters our stinger with the stinger of his own. No! And fuck. We will just use a gold orb because fuck it. It's gonna tank our style rating, but fuck it. I will let you know that in the bootleg, so you know, the first recording that never came to pass, I guess. I got him in the first try. Of course you don't have my word for it, so... Dante DTing on impact. I can't believe Dante's fucking dead.
Getting better.
Of course he isn't. He isn't dead.
I would even go as far as to say that I underestimated your abilities.
You aren't human, are you?
We're the same. You and them. Though I suspect you carry something different from the others.
What are you talking about?
You will come to learn the meaning soon enough. But business beckons.
Hey!
Adios, kid.
So let's see the abysmal rating. C for clear time, B for orbs and D for style, and a penalty for gold orb, D rank. I'll take it. I accept this mark of shame at the start of this Let's Play. Not that it matters considering I've beaten it before and all that. But with that said, we are now ready to proceed to the next mission. So, let's rock and do just that.